Hello and welcome to the marvellous show Game of Thrones. If you've never watched an episode before, it's a react show to the Game of Thrones, and way back, God, that's so long ago now. I'd never watched an episode and I don't know. And way back, what seems like an eternity ago now, someone suggested me to watch the Game of Thrones. I've never watched anyone before, and it's just the greatest thing ever, isn't it? It's amazing. But we're coming to the end now, and I'm gutted, and I'm trying to put the brakes on. I don't want it to end. It's horrible. But last week we watched episode 1 of season 8, and an absolutely incredible episode. I can't remember what the first episodes of the other seasons were, but that's got to be right up there. It was one of the best first opening episodes. I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. It was actually, apart from a few little bits, it was quite a real feel-good episode. There's lots of hugs, lots of people reunited with each other. It was brilliant. I loved it. So if you are a fan of Game of Thrones, So if you are a fan of Game of Thrones and you're not subscribed yet, firstly, why the hell not? Secondly, you've got a lot of catching up to do. And thirdly, subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell. That's all that done. So last week, as I said, we watched Winterfell, which was episode 1, season 8. We started with Bronn being given the mission of going to kill Jaime and Tyrion, which I thought was random. Tyrion I can sort of I don't even understand that. I mean, she had the chance to kill him. Although I did say, when they had that meeting, that I think if he hadn't had that whole of Daenerys' army stood outside, I think she probably would have killed him. I think she has second thoughts about it. And as for Jaime, she had the chance to kill him as well. I don't quite get this plot. Don't get it at all. I don't know what she can gain from it, apart from her own kind of personal kind of vendetta sort of thing. But she's had the opportunities to do it before, and I don't know why she didn't do it. Anyway, so Bronn's been given the mission to kill Tyrion and Jaime, should they survive Battle of the North. I'm hating that storyline, and I can't believe Bronn would even agree to it, but I know he's a bit of a mercenary and he'll do anything for money and all that, I get that. But has he not got any kind of pride or any kind of standards at all, really? I mean, he was friends with Tyrion, and he's actually friends with Jaime as well. And did Jaime rip him off? I mean, they did say that he lied about giving him that gold. But he did give him 2 big sacks of gold. I know he promised him a castle, but then it wasn't his fault that he had to leave Cersei to go to the north. So, I don't know. I feel a bit weird about that storyline. No, I'm not comfortable about it at all, because I don't want either of them to die. And God, I hope they don't, because that would really suck. Oh God, right. Annie, stop it. Euron obviously turned up with his fleet, and he had Yara as prisoner on his ship. He then went to see Cersei. Oh, I've done it again. So Euron turns up at King's Landing with the fleet of mercenaries that he's paid for through the gold that Cersei stole from the Tyrells. God, my brain had to really work for that sentence. That was pretty good. And also he's got Yara as a prisoner on his boat. Next scene we see him in front of Cersei, again with the pushing, with the whole kind of wanting to be with her kind of thing and marry her and all that malarkey, and she was having none of it. She was actually getting quite irritated by him, and then the weirdest thing happened. He said that, I think my heart's starting to break, and she walks off, stops, turns around and just gives him the come on, which I was shocked, couldn't believe that. And the next scene we see is them, obviously they've just done it, and a really weird bit where he puts his hand on her belly and says, I want to put a prince inside you, or something like that. He gives me the creeps. And obviously she's already pregnant. I'm assuming she's already pregnant anyway. And I think when she told him that she wanted to be on her own, it looked like she was almost trying to hold back sort of the tears. Which again, why? Why is she holding back the tears? Is it because of Jaime? If it's because of Jaime, then why did she just ask Bronn to kill him? Made no sense. Perhaps it's another reason, I don't know. So we went back to Yara on the ship, and suddenly the remaining crew was ambushed by Theon's little group, which was brilliant. I loved that. And Theon came in, rescued her, untied her, she stood up, headbutted him, broke his nose, and then put the hand down and helped him up, which I thought was a little bit of payback. But I still got beef with that, because there was nothing he could have done about that when she was with Euron. He really didn't, he was powerless. still bugs me a little bit. But what the hell? And then we see them later on heading back to the Iron Islands, where she's decided she's going to take back the Iron Islands again. And but she gets the kind of the vibe from Theon that he really wants to go north and fight for Jon. So she gives him a hug, and I was a bit. It was an emotional scene because I'm in the back of my head I'm thinking they're not going to see each other again, because she's staying down there, he's going up there, and I've got a feeling that's going to be the last time they see each other. So I'm going to be really gutted about that. But yeah, I guess we'll see where that goes, and I don't know how quick Theon's going to get up north, so it could be hopefully in this episode, which would be cool. And we see Tormund and Beric. See, got his name at last. They miraculously survive the wall collapse, and we see them going to House Umber. Didn't know that at the time. I've looked at it because sometimes I don't really take all the details in. I'm too sort of watching other things like squirrels and stuff, and so sometimes I don't quite take it all in. But yeah, they actually went to Umber because I thought they were at first going through the rubble at Eastwatch. Then I realised they weren't, but I wasn't sure where it was. And so they're going through the House Umber. Why is that a silly name? I don't know. So they're going through House Umber, and you see all the blood stains from where people have been killed and then obviously risen again. And as they go through, they bump into the remaining Night Watch, because they've obviously been let go by Jon and told to join. So together they kind of went through and searched. And then, there's a horrible scene. The head of the house is the little boy, the Umber boy. He's been pinned to the wall by this sort of stake, and obviously he's been turned. And as I think it was Tormund was approaching him, suddenly his eyes just lit up blue, and he started this horrible scream, this shrill. And Beric put their sword through him and set fire to him, and it was awful because the screams were just horrible. The fact that it was a little boy was awful as well. And he was really sweet because he was in the episode earlier on, and he made me laugh and chuckle. I thought he was really sweet, and then that's kind of the outcome, which was awful. So now what they're going to do is they're going to try and get ahead of the Night King's army. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I guess they're going to try and go round, and join Winterfell again, which I hope they really do, because I'm so excited about this huge battle that's coming. Can't tell you, it's really laying awake at night thinking about it. And so that's going to be really cool, and I just hope nothing happens to Tormund, because he is one of my favourite characters. And the massive story of this episode was, of course, Winterfell and Daenerys' army turning up, which was brilliant. It's such a huge army, and all the people gathering in the streets, sort of watching them walk by, and the Unsullied walk. I think the Unsullied were walking past first, and then we see Arya stood in the crowd, and it's almost like I don't know, it's like a game show. You see all these celebrities almost passing. Looks like you saw Jon, but she bottled it. She didn't shout his name out, which I really wanted her to. And then she saw the Hound, she saw Gendry. She's just there, like, it must have been amazing for her. So yeah, we saw that, and then they introduced to Sansa, who instantly took a bit of a dislike to Daenerys. Obviously, Daenerys is a stranger. The North tend to stick to their own, and anyone that's a stranger, they kind of do act a bit wary about. And Bran also said to Daenerys and Jon that told them about the dragon that now the Night King's now got. Which was a bit of a shock to Daenerys, I think. And he said that they've now broken through the wall as well. So now it's just, it's all happening. It's going to be in the next couple of episodes, I know it, and I'm so excited. And there's one scene where kind of everybody's in like the sort of the throne room, and Jon was basically defending his decision to bring Daenerys, saying that the North is more important than the crown. And it was a bit of unsettlement between everyone, and then Tyrion stands up to try and calm everybody down. He starts off well, and then he suddenly goes, plus the Lannister army are coming up to join us, and everyone just erupted, and I was like, oh no, wrong thing to say. Didn't really calm anyone down at all, bless him. I went, there were so many of these like meetings from way back, which was brilliant. So Arya goes to see Gendry, and the Hound's there as well, because Gendry's making the Hound this huge axe made out of dragon glass. And there's a little bit of a back and forth between Hound and Arya. It could have been worse, could have been better, but I think they were never going to hug each other, were they? Let's face it. But that was quite cool. And then obviously she has a chat with Gendry afterwards, and she gives him this picture of this weapon that she wants him to make. And I guess it looks like kind of like a staff which breaks in half. Now I might have got that wrong with the picture, but that's kind of how it looked. And so Gendry's going to make that for her, which will be really cool. I can't wait to see her sort of use that. Then we had a scene with Jon and Daenerys. They went to see the dragons because the dragons weren't eating properly, so they went to see them. And then a bit that was a bit cheesy for me. I don't know. Daenerys gets on the dragon and then tells Jon to get on the other dragon, and Jon's never been on a dragon before, and yet at the same time she says, well, if a dragon doesn't like you riding it, then it's been nice knowing you, Jon Snow, which I thought was a bit weird. And then next time they're flying through the air at God knows what speed, and Jon is really struggling to keep hold, and several times he could have died, and I just thought it was a little bit weird, a bit kind of cheesy really, I'm not sure. And when they did eventually land, there was a funny scene where Daenerys and Jon were kissing, and as Jon looked round as he was kissing Daenerys, you just saw Drogon staring straight at him, which I thought was so funny. He's sort of protecting his mum, and that was a classic moment. I loved it. We had a really horrible scene back at Winterfell again, where Daenerys and Jorah go and find Sam, who's in the library, and she wants to thank him for saving Jorah's life. And she said, if there's anything I can do, to pay you back. And he goes, well, there is a couple of things. I need a pardon. She went, what for? So he said he stole a load of the scripts and books from the Citadel. And also he said, I need to return my sword back to House Tarly. And her face suddenly sort of changed, and she said, not Randall Tarly. And he said, yeah, that's my father, yeah. And then she had to explain to him that she executed him for not taking the knee. And Sam's poor little face, you just see the pain on his face, even though his dad was horrible, and probably threatened to kill him God knows how many times. But anyway, I guess in a spur of the moment, that's the way you are, isn't it? And then Sam said something really horrible. He said, well, at least my brother will allow me back. And she said, yeah, I kind of executed your brother as well. So that was an awful scene. I hate seeing Sam upset. And then with that, he kind of ran outside and walked into Bran. And Bran then said, now's the time you need to tell Jon the truth. And I thought, I'll give him a break. The guy's just been told that his father and brother have just been executed. Now you want to go tell Jon who he is. And when Sam said to him, well, why don't you tell him, you're his brother? And Bran went, well, no, I'm not. But come on, Jon didn't know that. Jon, I think, would still have possibly preferred it from Bran. I don't know. I still think Bran should have been the one to tell him, not push it onto poor bloody Sam. So Jon's down in the catacombs. He's sort of putting candles around Ned's sort of statue, and then he first of all they hug because they haven't seen each other in years. And Sam's obviously visibly upset, and Jon asks what's the matter, and he tells him that Daenerys has executed his father and brother. And when he asks, would you do the same if you were king? And then it all comes out who Jon's parents really are. I think Jon took it probably better than I thought he would. Still not great. So now that it kind of left it at that, as far as that story goes, and in this next episode, I don't think Daenerys is going to be prepared to give up the crown for Jon. I really don't. She certainly won't take the knee. So this could get really tense now, and this could ruin everything. Because Jon does have a tendency of putting his foot in it every now and then. So I'm a bit worried about what's going to happen here. And then the very, very last scene, oh, what a moment. Jaime Lannister turns up into Winterfell, and it's the first time he's been there since the first season. And who's the first person he sees is Bran. And earlier on in the episode, Bran said he was waiting for an old friend, and I didn't click who that was. But yeah, the ending is just them face to face, and this is why I cannot wait to get into this episode, because I want to see what goes on there, because I'm so excited about it. I just hope they don't ruin the moment. I hope there's some really good writing, because that is a classic scene going all the way back to the first episode. I love it when they do stuff like this, and yeah, it's going to be a rare moment, and I literally can't wait. So that was basically what happened in episode 1. My loves and hates from the past 2 episodes, so that's episode 1 and the last episode of season 7. My loves, and yeah, you're going to laugh. In third place is Jaime. I know, I really hated him throughout nearly all of season 7, but at last he's kind of seen the light, and he's actually stood up to Cersei, thank Christ, and now he's done the right thing by going up north. Don't know what's going to happen to him when he gets to Winterfell, because technically he could get executed on the spot after what the things that he's done. But I'm really, really, really hopeful now that Jaime can make amends with Tyrion. He can get back on board and actually fight for Daenerys. That would be awesome. So yeah, I'm really hoping. But yeah, he's crept back into my top 3. In second place is Theon. Bless Theon. He's a damaged man. He's never going to be right again. But he did the right thing with Yara. He did the right thing with Jon, making up with Jon, apologising and everything that he'd done, and not looking for complete forgiveness, but needing that, I don't know, that kind of support from Jon, and I think he did get it. And to rescue Yara as well was genius. And now he's going back up north as well. He wants to fight for Jon, which I think is the right decision to do. So yeah, he's my number 2, and number 1 is Sam. Bless Sam. It's such an awful thing to go through. He was brilliant in the last episode as well, in the last episode of season 7. But in this episode alone, having that pressure of having to tell Jon who his real father was after just being dealt that card by Daenerys, which was awful. I hate seeing Sam upset, and I really hope that I don't know what to expect from Sam now. I'm just hoping that he gets some kind of peace. I really do. I don't mean that that he dies. I mean just peace of mind. So yeah, I at the minute I really do love Sam, and he's my number 1. My hates in 3rd place is Bronn. I know. He's I've been up and down with Bronn in the last couple of seasons. I wasn't particularly a big fan of his in season 7, and now accepting that job to go and kill the Lannister brothers rather, is really annoyed me in a big way. Why doesn't he just take the money and bugger off? Or even take the money, go north with the money, and then just fight for them? That would be brilliant. I just hope he doesn't kill either of them. I really do, because I don't want either of them to die now, especially at the hand of Bronn. And if they're going to die, then die in, I don't know, by the Night King or something, I don't know. But I think he's a bit of an arse taking that money. And I know he's a mercenary, and I know that's what he does, but come on, he was friends with both of them. Really good friends, so no, he's my number 3 at the minute. Number 2, it was close between my 2nd and 1st place, but my number 2 spot is Euron. Never liked him, ever. He irritates the crap out of me. He was irritated the crap out of me in that last episode in season 7, and then the one that we watched last time, episode 1 in season 8. He was a complete weird arsehole, and the way he's creeping round Cersei is horrible. I just don't like him. There's nothing about him to like. So yeah, he's my number 2. And number 1, it's Cersei again. Wow, I mean, the things that she's done again in season 7, just bullshitting her way through that meeting, lying to everyone, lying to Jaime, telling them she's going to fight for the North, and then almost executing Jaime, then not. I don't quite know what happened there, but that was awful as well. And now she's sending Bronn to kill them both. It's just awful. Again, she's going to get her comeuppance, but I don't think it's going to be yet. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought they were going to have the battle with Cersei first, and then the big battle was going to be the Night King. But it kind of seems that the story at the minute is they're going to deal with the Night King first, and then Cersei second, I guess. And another thing that I did forget was that Sansa told Tyrion that he was stupid to believe Daenerys. Cersei. And he seemed to click when she said that. So whether or not something's going to happen with Cersei before, I'm not sure. And I really want Tyrion to do something about that in this episode. I want him to click, work it out in his head that she's bullshitted him. But of course, Jaime's going to be there, so he'll be able to tell Tyrion anyway. So that's a good point. Plus, Bran should be helping people out more anyway. He knows everything that's happening. Why didn't he tell them that Cersei's not going to help him? He should have told him that anyway. Ugh. Anyway, rant over. So without further ado, let's crack on with episode 2, season 8, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I think it's going to be about Jaime. I'm hoping it is, because I'm really excited about that storyline now. Oh God, I hope it just starts with Jaime and Bran again, because that's what I really want to see. I'm so excited. So yes, I shall see you in a minute, and yeah, see you soon.
There are no men like me.
Oh my God.
When I was a child, my brother would tell me a bedtime story about the man who murdered our father, who stabbed him in the back and cut his throat, who sat down on the Iron Throne and watched as his blood poured onto the floor, Your sister pledged to send her army north.
She did.
I don't see an army. I see one man with one hand. It appears your sister lied to me.
She lied to me as well. She never had any intention of sending her army north. She has Euron Greyjoy's fleet and 20,000 fresh troops. The Golden Company from Essos, bought and paid for. Even if we defeat the dead, she'll have more than enough to destroy the survivors.
We.
I promised to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
Go on, let him.
Your Grace, I know my brother.
Like you knew your sister.
He attacked my father in the streets. He tried to destroy my house and my family, the same as he did yours.
Do you want me to apologize? I won't. We were at war. Everything I did for my house and my family. I'd do it all again.
The things we do for love.
Ooh.
You don't know me well, Your Grace. But I know Sir Jaime. He is a man of honor. I was his captor once. But when we were both taken prisoner and the men holding us tried to force themselves on me, Sir Jaime defended me. And lost his hand because of it. Without him, my lady, you would not be alive. He armed me, armored me, and sent me to find you and bring you home. Because he'd sworn an oath to your mother.
Shut up, haven't you?
You vouch for him.
I do.
You would fight beside him.
I would.
I trust you with my life. If you trust him with yours, we should let him stay.
Good.
We need every man we can get.
Very well.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Your Grace.
She's not happy, is she? Oh, it's definitely a weirdness going on. I think Jon's taking the news about him being the true king. Oh, I hope those two have a chat.
Either you knew Cersei was lying and let me believe otherwise, or you didn't know at all, which makes you either a traitor or a fool.
I was a fool.
Not for the first time. Cersei still sits on the throne. If you can't help me take it back, I'll find another hand who can.
Oops.
You make my weapon yet?
Just as soon as I'm done making a few thousand of these.
You should make mine first. You fought them?
Did. Some of them.
How many?
Few. That was enough.
What are they like?
Bad. Really bad.
Not helpful.
Really bad. What do they look like? What do they smell like? How do they move? How hard are they to kill?
Look, I know you want to fight. I know you're not scared of rapers or murderers or... This is different. This is death. You want to know what they're like? Death. That's what they're like.
I know Death. He's got many faces. I look forward to seeing this one. My weapon.
I'll get right on it.
I can't wait to see her weapon, man. It's gonna be great. Yes. This is what I want to see.
I'm sorry for what I did to you.
You weren't sorry then. You were protecting your family.
I'm not that person anymore.
You still would be. If you hadn't pushed me out of that window. And I would still be Brandon Stark.
You're not?
No. I'm something else now.
There we go.
Why didn't you tell them?
You won't be able to help us in this fight if I let them murder you first.
What about afterwards?
How do you know there is an afterwards?
Is that it? Oh, come on. Tyrion needs to sort his shit out, he really does. Oh.
Here we are,
Yes, here we are.
together again. They'll come around once they see Daenerys is different.
And she is. Different.
She is.
Are you sure about her?
I am. I made a mistake common to clever people. I underestimated my opponents.
Was she lying about the baby too? No. That part is real.
She never fooled you. You always knew exactly what she was. You loved her anyway.